I became a teacher because of a Subway ad. Not a great origin story. I didn't play teacher with my dolls. I didn't dream about shaping tomorrow's youth. I was exhausted after a long day of staring at spreadsheets in my office, and I looked up and I saw this ad. You remember your first grade teacher's name, who will remember yours? And I thought, hey, sure, I'll try being a teacher. How hard could it be? Right? I know. But over 20 years later, I'm still in education, although now I teach pre-service teachers instead of middle school kids. And I work at Hunter College, which was founded in 1870 as a tuition-free, women's-only college to train future teachers. And now we charge tuition, and we're not women's only anymore, but I get to be part of this legacy of preparing the future generation of teachers. And so I think a lot about why people choose to teach, and how we get them to stay long after they've left me at graduation. Let's start with why. When I ask my students why they want to teach, not a single one has ever said, I want to teach kids to memorize multiplication facts. They say, I want to see kids light up. And the ad was right. They remember those names. They tell me about teachers, probably many of you in this room, who inspired them, who made them love math. But the ad didn't tell me they remember other teachers' names. I'm sure none of you are in this room, but teachers like this guy who made them hate math, who made them... But here's the thing, I don't think anyone dreams of being this teacher, but too often we do not support teachers to be the teacher that they dream of being. We don't give them that support. It's a math conference, we gotta look at some numbers. I don't think these are a surprise, unfortunately, to many of you, but the question is, what do we do? Now, I don't have the answer, I only have 5 minutes, but I'll tell you a story about my mom. So my mom is a retired teacher, you'll see how happy she looks in a minute, but she taught for decades in Queens, and she stayed, yeah, because she loved kids, but also because she had creativity and support to be the teacher she could be. Until one day, they took it away, right? And I hear this a lot from teachers. They won't let me, they said I can't. Then I talk to principals, and like, no, we want joy, and we want to agree, but they won't do it. And then everyone blames us at universities because they are out of touch and didn't prepare teachers, which might be fair. But somewhere in all this, we lost the connection between these different groups, and what we all want, which even if we started because of the Subway ad, it's really all about the kids. And so how do we kind of build this connection back between these different groups? This is the first school I ever taught at, PS 75 in the Bronx. And that first year, I was so far from any of those inspirational teachers whose names are remembered. In fact, this is what I imagine my face looked like during that entire first year. Right? Not the face of someone who's gonna stay in education, but I did because I had colleagues who supported me. I had coaches who had time and training to support me. I had PDs and conferences like this that inspired me. But all too often, I got lucky. Teachers don't always get lucky, and we need to make this more systematic so we're not sending them out into what can feel like this all alone. So, what do we do? I have a couple ideas, again, only 5 minutes, but we need to rethink teacher prep, and we need universities to collaborate better with the schools and districts that they serve. We really do. We have people that are doing this well. We try to do this really well at Hunter. One of the things we do is we work really closely with the communities. We have a cohort model, so students have a built-in network of support that lasts for years. We bring those students back to become mentors, but we need to do more of this to support early career teachers. 2, we need to rethink professional learning in a lot of places so that it feels like community and not compliance, and not I have to go and I dread going. Yeah. We have to rethink it. We're doing some work in Atlanta now where we're really trying to collaborate across different groups, leaders, coaches, teachers, university faculty, so that we really can empower each other to do the work that we dream of doing. So I ask all of you to think about, we have lots of different roles in here, but what can you do to maybe try to see things from someone else's perspective, to instead of blaming the teachers who are struggling, think about how to support them? How do we really work together? Because at the end of the day, it's not about those students remembering one teacher's name. It's about the impact that many of us can have when we work together. Even if some of us, like me, didn't start off as heroes, when we join forces and come together, we can do amazing things for kids, and that is something worth remembering.
Fantastic. You